Good evening, ma'am.
This meeting is being recorded.
Recording in progress.
Parenting styles. Authoritarian parent. Values, obedience and respect. Commands the child to do or do not do. Set clear rules. Unbending, does not compromise or negotiate, is always right. Metas out strict punishment for misbehavior. Child learns by imitating expert and following strict directions. Permissive parent reacts to strict parenting style of past by doing the opposite. This has become a more prevalent style of parenting since WWI.
It's World War II.
Oh, yes, sorry. Child are encouraged to think for themselves. Avoids inhabitant, non-conformity, going with the flow. Misbehavior is often ignored. Hands-off approach for parenting. Children learn from consequences of their action. Assertive democratic parent. Parent establishes guidelines for children. Clear boundaries are set along with the reasons for them. Children are taught to take age-appropriate responsibility. Children are given practice in making choices, guided to see consequences and to problem solve. Misbehavior is handled appropriately while validating the child. Teaching versus punishment.
Let's do that
one second.
With the assertive democratic parent, that is what more conducive for the children, especially the last point, teaching versus punishment. If we can take every moment as a teachable moment or learnable moment and understand that nobody does anything on purpose. So whatever happens, it could be by mistake. So punishment is definitely not something that would work or even a child would understand. And typically we resort to punishment somewhere because we have an expectation that the child has to listen to us. The child should not react or retaliate or rebel. The child must sleep by a certain time. The child must eat everything that I provide. So there are lots of those. So that is where we need to pause for a moment, especially when we feel that the child is not according to our expectation, then question the expectation. What is it that I have and what is it the child is trying to do right now? And how can I bridge that gap? From translating my expectation to, or in a way that the child understands and allowing the child to gain that expertise, maybe give that time, practice, repeat it several times so the child is comfortable doing that, and the child will also see us do it, not just me as a parent or a teacher, but it's typically every adult, significant adult in the child's environment. So imitation is just not by parents, it's just not by teachers. Several people are in child's immediate environment who are significant, who the child sees often on regular basis. So we need to begin to understand that and take every moment as a teachable moment. Then things will start working out for both the child and the adult. All right, you can carry on.
One thing I want to say here, ma'am. As
Mhm.
parents, we are not giving them choices, and we are facing some situation where we got the trouble, and I'm thinking that my child should not get it. So in that case, I'm failing there, ma'am. I'm not giving choices. I'm forcing them to do something where they should. I feel that they should not get trouble in their life.
Correct.
Correct.
Because you're
Because
operating
you're
out of
operating
fear.
out of fear.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. You don't
Right?
want
You
children
don't want
to
children
face the
to
same
face
thing
the
that
same
you
thing that
faced.
you faced.
Yes, mummy. That is in my. It's fixed in my mind that I struggled in that way. So if
Hmm.
he or she takes the same thing, they will also get that. So they should not face that much bad situations. So I'm telling them not to do this and that. I'm not leaving their choices, ma'am. I'm not taking their choices.
Correct.
Correct.
And
And
is that helping?
is that helping?
Somewhere, ma'am, somewhere they would have chosen better than my choice, no?
Mm.
So I used to think, ma'am, even in their studies also, I have taken decision and I made them read, but their interest is different, ma'am. So
Yeah.
in that case, I'm feeling bad about me actually.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll just
just
mute
mute
you,
you.
because I'm getting repeating sound.
Repeating sound.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Shall I continue, ma'am?
I'll just mute
I'll just mute you and we'll just address that question.
Sure, ma'am.
So basically, out of great love, we do this for our children. We definitely do not have any bad intentions ever. I mean, any of the parents, knowingly or unknowingly. However, Steiner gives this beautiful example of the butterfly, the metamorphosis that butterfly goes through when it's in chrysalis mode, and butterfly, before it becomes a butterfly, it is struggling to come out of the cocoon, struggling to break open the shell it has wound around itself. And if we try to help this butterfly not go through that struggle and have it easy, then the butterfly will never develop the strength to fly. And it will never be a butterfly. It will die very quickly afterwards. I mean, of course, butterfly has a very short lifespan. Similarly, if we can understand that it is good the children go through hurdles, obstacles, pains early on, then it's good for them to be a better adult. And we also went through it as children, many a times. My parents may not have taken good care of me. My siblings may not have been there for me. But somehow their unavailability gave me strength and courage to become who I am today. That is where we reflect back. When we write our journals, we reflect back. So going through the pain is not a bad idea at all. And now if the children have grown up, and if we still can withdraw, because seeing a parent go through a transformation themselves, my mother has been controlling of me. She has decided everything for me. And now she has realized maybe I make better decisions than her. And she is giving me that freedom. the child may be lost for some time. They're so used to being taken care of, they may not be very comfortable at this point of time. However, we are there in this together. Let us decide it together. Let us do the pros and cons for any decision, and we'll sail through it together. The two of us is definitely stronger than just one doing in their own space. So seeing the parent change is very encouraging for the child, no matter what age. I mean, yesterday when we were going through the passive aggressive parenting style, I was reflecting on my own parenting style. And most of those descriptors fit me so very well. And my children also verbalized it at some point. And somehow, fortunately, I myself was into all the self-help and therapy and whatnot. And my children have seen me go through the phases. And I kept asking them, did I hurt you in any way? Later, after I had hurt them. And somehow they had remembered all the happy moments more than when I was like passive aggressive with them. And slowly but surely I kept changing, and now they are my best friends. Of course, they're 26 and 29 now, and they share everything. And somewhere that letting them do certain things on their own, but being there with them also kind of helped. And because I am transforming, I am working on myself every single day, and I share that with my children as well. And they say, yeah, there is definitely scope for me to change as well, provided I pay attention to that. And that something will come. And this is something you can do with children starting about 7, 8 years old, sharing one-on-one with your children, whether they get it or not. And because they are 8-year-old, they can understand the stories. So we definitely can tell our stories. Why did I decide for you? What was my fear? Why did I want to protect you from not going through the same pain I had gone through? But now I realize that you are better informed than I am, and we can transition into you taking the decision, and I'll take the back seat and I'll support the best I can. I mean, that's a huge, huge confidence that we build with children. And it's an amazing journey that both of us can together have. So it's not that we have lost the opportunity. There's always relationship building is an ongoing process. So we don't have to be guilty. We just have to work on ourselves to build that relationship back. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
ma'am.
Pavitra says, one second, yeah. Most of the parents, they do the same. Yeah, because we don't know. I don't know the implications of my actions. Like we read earlier, many a times we are oblivious to my behavior. If someone can record me, audio, video, show it back to me, I'll be shocked. But nobody has the courage, or nobody takes that step. Somewhere we need to do it. We got to become the bad person so the other person can grow up. Similarly, somebody became a bad person. Somebody told me that you do not sound good when you say this, or you're too fast, or you're too distracted, whatever it is. My son told me one time when he was about 6, and I would want him to finish his homework so I could take them to the park. And I thought I was doing it for their benefit because they would have fun with their friends. But then one day he told me, it's like having 3 cannons on me, 2 on my shoulders, 1 on my head. I don't know when which one will go off. I can't handle you. And a 6-year-old saying, maybe he got all those words from some comic he was reading, but that definitely put my situation in a perspective. I still didn't know what I was doing wrong because it's for them that I was doing. So I could take them to the park, and I was sacrificing my evening by taking them to the park. So I was always in this I thing. Somewhere, if parents can recognize that, begin observing the child a little bit and slow down a little bit and become present to their own thoughts and feelings and ideas a little bit at a time. As a parents, whenever they come to you for parent-teacher sessions or when they have concerns about their children, give your own example. Don't advise parents because we really don't know what situation they're coming from. But give your own example of how you struggled. What did you do? How long did it take you to become a little alert teacher or a parent? And see if some of that would help them, maybe shifting something a little bit and give them a hope that it will work. It's a process. There is no quick pill for that, but it's not impossible. Also that.
Thank you, ma'am. We will also try, ma'am. Let me continue. Polarities in parenting styles and their impacts on children. Permissive and passive parent. Expansive, accepting of child's nature and wishes. Validates the child as is. Encourages child-directed decision-making and activities. Not actively responsible for setting boundaries, rules and routine. Poor discipline and follow through. Reasons with child. Gives explanations and negotiates as a disciplinary response to unacceptable behavior. Parent plays the role of a friend or equal to the child. Makes few demands on the child. The child is not regularly required to do daily chores. Avoids exercising control or power over child, letting the child be in charge. It's a no big deal attitude, often displays inconsistent response to daily events. Impact on the child. Poor emotional regulations and mood swings. From willful to insecure behavioral parenting. Rebellious and defiant when will is challenged or is made accountable for behavior. Easily gives up on challenging tasks. Antisocial behaviors. No sense of boundaries, rules, or routines. Child does not develop appropriate self-monitoring behavior skills. There is no role model to imitate.
All right.
Thank you.
There's a
question.
Kritika, this understanding parents' struggles and shifting can work in which stage of development? I would say every stage, because I'll give you another example. I'm 57 now. My mother is 78. She was, I took charge of the family because my father was on duty most of the time, wasn't around. And somewhere I started playing the role of a father to my younger brothers and the role of a husband to my mother. In other words, take care of her. And that became a pattern, and that's the pattern till today, which I resent. I don't want to be calling her every day to just chat of whatever gossips that she wants to convey. And this is an ongoing battle. And my father passed away 5-6 years ago. And since then, she's gotten hooked on to YouTube and she watches different kinds of videos, whatnot. And she's coming across all sorts of self-development videos, spiritual videos, discourses, whatnot. And she's beginning to understand how little she knew. She's hit upon a series on parenting, and the way she started talking was entirely different. And then I started connecting with her a little bit more. I started sharing with her as to what I was doing with my children at schools, with teachers, with parents. And she was curious to know. So the relationship improved after almost 50 years of being with her. So there is really no stage, provided the parent is willing to address their egos, address their expectations. Only after my mother started changing the topics that she was talking and understanding why I was ignoring her, especially when she was gossiping, did I open up with her with whatever I was doing. Does that help you, Kritika?
Yes, ma'am. So I was thinking that as now my child is in stage 1, and when he doesn't follow the rhythm, then I force him to do that. So actually, it is even I feel bad, but I'm not allowing him to do what he wants, but I want him to do what is our day rhythm. So maybe I think when I will explain him the struggles or whatever, maybe he may understand.
Yeah, but he is in stage 1. Your explanation is not going to
help that much. Yes, ma'am.
Right? So rhythm is something that everyone in the family should do it. And when you are following the rhythm yourself, he will eventually follow it. He may not, just because you are setting a rhythm today, he need not align to it. It is not his rhythm. It's something that I set. I will see many a times, maybe beginning of this month, everybody set up New Year goals. I set it up for myself, and I cannot follow through it because doing is very different from imagining and writing it up or talking about it. Right? So somewhere you have to adjust your routine to cater to his needs. So typically we talk about 3 pillars in the day for the rhythm. One is bedtime, wake up time. That is sleep time schedule. One is meal time schedule, your breakfast, lunch, snack time, dinner time, and your activities, anything that you want to do in the evening with the child or before going to school or in the afternoons if they come early. So any of those activity time that you have to set. Don't be super rigid about it. Begin with one and build it up so everybody follows it, because otherwise the child will question, sometimes you don't do it, why should I be doing it? He may not question you because he probably does not have the vocabulary skills yet to frame that question, but in his mind he certainly will have that feeling. So be okay with it and take it slow. Begin with the one thing that you will do and let that become a habit, then add another one. Because definitely children respond to that boundaries. Somewhere the rhythm offers that boundaries. Then they don't have to worry about when am I going to park, or when am I going to have my dinner, or maybe every Sunday you go to the temple. So after temple, you probably go out for lunch. So eating out is after temple on Sunday. So he doesn't ask, when are you going to eat out on Fridays? Because you have not gone to the temple. And you don't go to the temple when you have gone to the school. So all those get linked up. So be gentle about it. Yeah. And
Yes, ma'am.
Poonam, yeah. We need to lead by example for whatever we want
Yeah.
our kids to do. Yeah, so they can imitate right things. Yes, that is something that we have to do.
Because nobody
Second,
likes nagging. Like even if somebody asks us to do this, do like this, do like that, even we don't
correct.
like even being an adult. So even children won't like. So like whatever we want, we should do it so that they can follow, they can imitate.
Correct.
That's like so that
Definitely that
can
is,
save our relation with them.
yes. And you should also remember that may not be the case. You know,
Yeah.
that works in many of the situations. For example, I have a cousin, his wife is a musician. She's a vocalist. She sings for the radio stations, and she also is a music teacher, and she has lots of students who come home for classes. And her daughter was exposed to singing right from her birth, but the daughter never opens her mouth even to hum along. So it is, so there are lots, it's a complex situation. Definitely imitation is the predominant way that the child learns. However, we are also carrying something from our past life.
Yeah. We need to keep observing them so that we can
Yes,
understand where the bend is. So
yes,
accordingly, we can deal with them. Like,
yes. So be open. It's okay for your child to not follow you 100% as long as they're not going in the wrong path, not just according to me, according to, I mean, I don't want to even want to say community, but for example, if the child is smoking, then that is something not good for the child's health. Not because the community is banning it, not because I don't like my child smoking, but because it's not good for the child. That is when we get, I mean, I'm giving a very raw, drastic example, but younger children, if they begin hitting, for example, then that's a no-no. They may not have imitated, you know, many parents tell that, I mean, they never hit the child. I mean, teachers are not hitting in the school, then where is the child learning it? They may have seen some videos, they may have seen some street fights just going on the school bus one time and they tried to do it on somebody and they felt powerful. We don't know. But that is where we have to step in and correct. We don't nag,
yeah.
but yeah, definitely there are therapeutic stories that we could tell and make and repeat the story several times. It's not just I tell story once and the child will just get it. Right. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Suggestively, we can give suggestions, but not directly.
right. Through stories, through your own actions, and keep observing, keep course correcting, be available. So basically, we have to have enough time, and we need to be grounded
Yeah.
at the very highest level.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
think we'll stop here, Sudha. We are out of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions, anybody?
Ma'am, I have a query. Myself, Neha.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, my query is कि many time it happens कि being a parent, we understand what what to be done with the child. For example, if the physique of a child is very good, so the parent want that he or she can do good in the athletics or in some sports. But the child is, matlab he is not able to understand because many times it happens they don't know what their capabilities are, right? So how to guide the child even though he don't want it or is not interested in doing that thing, but being a parent or being a mentor or the teachers also, even sports person in the school, they are suggesting the parents ki he or she can do in good in athletics or the sports. So how to motivate the child for doing those things?
Well, the only best way is for us to start doing with him. Let's go for a jog together. Let's play the ball together. Because somewhere, I mean, if you can apply the same example to ourselves, you see what I'm good at, but I don't see it.
Okay.
So somewhere you got to put me into that position of doing, and this happened exactly with me. This was 20 years ago. I'd just come back from US. I had a mentor and I used to travel with him to conduct teacher training sessions in schools. And I was not a trainer. I was just with him, helping him out a little bit. But one session, he just threw me on the podium. He said, my colleague Shubha is going to conduct this session for you. I'm like, what? There were about 70 teachers. And he said, you have experience. You have gone through school yourself. You have gone through volunteering in a children's school, and you have been a parent. You understand children. Now you go address the teachers. And I was taken aback. I was fumbling. I was mumbling. And then he was there to support me. But I can't forget that day. That was my first day before teachers, and he saw that which I didn't see, but he was there with me doing it. And for children, same thing applies. If I want my daughter to learn to sing, I have to sit with her and start singing, and I have to play the harmonium when she is not playing it, and somewhere she catches on to the tune and she begins to like it, and she'll take it up. At least as a hobby, if not as a profession.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So try it.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
very welcome. All right, we'll call it a day. We'll see you tomorrow.